BBC's Director General Tim Davie has accused campaigners of whipping up outrage over the BBC's coverage of transgender issues. Yes, Tim, it's completely all in our minds. We've just been making it all up. Of course we are. Well, look, let's talk right now to Defund the BBC's campaign director, Rebecca Ryan, who joins us. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi, Julia.
Thanks so much for joining us. I mean, it is extraordinary that Tim Davie has made these comments. He was speaking to MPs yesterday, and he said he'd only received a handful of emails about one particular row that's come up recently. And this is about the Radio 4 presenter on Justin Webb. And he, last year, a whole year ago, used the phrase on today's programme when he was talking about trans women. He said trans women, in other words, male, and just carried on the conversation. One person complained, and very quickly this was dealt with. And he was found to have effectively, taken aside on a controversial issue. We know that a lot of senior women at the BBC have gone, it's not controversial to state facts. Trans women are male. He didn't even say are men. He says are male. They said, well, maybe if he said biologically male, that would have been okay. That's what male means, biologically male. I'm pretty sure, knowing Justin Webb, that he's fairly unhappy about this, as indeed are a lot of other people. But according to Tim Davie, he'd only received a handful of emails about this, and the controversy has been whipped up around us in a way that is deeply, deeply damaging. At the same time, by the way, John Humphrys, used to be a presenter on the same show, suggested that actually the organisation Stonewall has more influence with the BBC than it does in the outside world and is an issue. What do you make of this? Is it all in our minds? Are we just whipping this up and it's just not an issue?
I mean, we see this on a daily basis. It clearly isn't just in our minds, is it? We see this in BBC's news reporting. We see it in the broadcast coverage. You know, this, a woman has been accused of, has been convicted as a paedophile. You know, these things are, these words are being misused all of the time, and it's really dangerous, actually, isn't it? And what we see is the BBC taking one side on what is a contentious issue, but also it's just science, it's just fact, and what we expect from the BBC in order for them to be allowed to tax us essentially for the TV license is journalistic excellence. So that means that they should be dealing in facts, and they should be able to deal with these sort of issues where there are two sides who are at loggerheads. And essentially what this comes down to is the BBC bowing down to a small but very, very vocal,
very vocal
campaign group, and throwing out, the views of half of the country are women, basically. It's not wrong, and it should not be offensive to people to say that, a trans woman is male. That's
exactly. Or even a trans woman is a man, because that's what I have to say. I mean, I think we should stop using the phrase trans woman, actually. I mean, because lots of people actually think that not as a belief that person somehow becomes a woman by saying the magical words, I am a trans woman. I am a woman, therefore, I am one. But actually, they actually genuinely think that's what people are talking about, or someone who's gone through all the operations, as opposed to, a 6-foot bloke with a beard saying, oh, I'm a woman today. We should say trans-identifying men. That's what they are. They're men who identify as trans. It's completely accurate. And I don't think we should say biologically male. I think we should just say male. And I think we should stop doing this. But we also need to stop saying gender-critical feminists who believe that men cannot become women. No. Who know that men cannot. We need to start using more factual language. We were all trying to be nice and kind for a long time and using people's preferred pronouns because we didn't want to upset anybody, quite rightly. And then people who are not either genuinely trans, they're not people who are suffering from the trans dysphoria, gender dysphoria, I've started exploiting it. We know, all these men who are charged with or convicted of rape, of women saying, oh, no, it turns out I'm a trans woman, I put a wig on, and I really need to be in a women's jail and things like that. I mean, we need to stop playing along with the madness. And what I expect of the BBC, who I'm legally required to pay for because I want to watch live telly, is that they stick to the facts. And the facts are trans women are male. That's literally what it means. And for Justin Webb to have been basically wrapped on the knuckles is an extraordinary thing. I wish he would kind of stand up publicly and go, I won't put up with this. I didn't do anything wrong. But of course, we know his job would disappear if he did that. And that's what happens to women who speak out as well.
Absolutely, and that's the thing is we've got this state broadcaster, as you say there, that we're forced to fund if we want to watch any live broadcast TV, who are being complicit in this lie, basically, this gaslighting of the British people to sort of say, you know, this isn't happening or that's happening. And what it comes down to is really surely being able to state facts. And this is a debate, as we've said, where one side is very, very vocal and got very sharp elbows and has, as you mentioned earlier, through the sort of Stonewall network, has got a massive amount of influence over the public bodies in the UK.
And they really do, though. They really do. Yeah. Mermaids, Stonewall in particular, they're basically running our country these days.
Absolutely, and this is the thing, and you've got women who are just sort of trying to go about their lives, and suddenly they're called, you know, people with cervixes, or they're called, you know, we've got chest feeding, and you're getting sort of women who are being eradicated from public discourse because, you know, somebody might get offended, and that's just really insulting.
Honestly, I don't care if someone gets offended. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't care anymore. We're going to use the words that we've always used. Can I also ask about J.K. Rowling, just very briefly, because obviously she's been our hero on a lot of these issues and just basically coming out fighting, sort of Boudica sort of type figure. But Scottish Police Scotland, at an official hate crime event, again, don't even have time for hate crimes, they basically created a fictional character called Jo. Oh, what? As in Jo, as in J.K. Rowling, who thinks that sex is binary and bizarrely calls for trans people to be sent to gas chambers. I mean, this apparently was a youth engagement event held in February as part of their LGBT History Month. I mean, what is going on? Again, we pay for the police as well. What is going on?
I mean, there's a complete capture of all of these sort of state mechanisms where you've got these sort of LGBTQ plus groups within these organisations who are essentially just cobbling together training material,
and making money. They're making money from it. No, that's what one forgets. They're making money.
Indeed, and pushing this agenda, and it is a nonsense. And I think within those organisations, you haven't got people who are able to sort of say, "Hang on a minute." This,
well, they are able to say, but if they say it, they lose their jobs. That's what people don't understand. This is what is happening. I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much, Rebecca Ryan, there from Defund the BBC. Very quick word from Philip on this.
We've got a minority dictating to a majority. That has to be wrong in any society.
Well, exactly. I mean, again, but also they're wrong. I mean, they're wrong to say trans women are women. It's a factually incorrect statement. But people being told off or sacked for stating facts is very scary.
And inequality is flipped. We've now got inequality against the majority because if they speak out, then they get sacked.
Absolutely. Philip Ingham, thank you very much.